I would love to get another championship, especially on a different brand, even though, Yamaha gave so much to me. I mean, made a living racing a motorcycle. Sometimes it doesn't even seem real.
Some problem out of the chicane, and down goes Cameron.
This long off season has really just lit the fire in me. Go win races and fight for the championship. When you get used to winning championships and races, it hurts losing more than you enjoy winning. I got pretty out of shape this off season after having the injuries I did at the end of the year. Ended up having surgery on my knee and got the plate and screws taken out of my tibia from a previous injury. And man, I didn't get going at all after. I was golfing and drinking beer and being lazy, hanging out with the family.
Ready, set, go.
I feel lucky and blessed every day that I wake up knowing this place is mine, and it's going to be pretty cool to see Brody grow up here too.
One week before the Superbike season starts at Road Atlanta, Beaubier's crew chief prepares the bikes for the opener.
I was running this as a performance shop. Michael came along and said he wanted to do a race team, so basically he's my only client now. I just run the team out of what used to be a performance shop. There was a lot of meetings and conversations with Alpha and with BMW trying to come up with what we were going to change to try to make things better for this year. Meetings with the swing arm manufacturer and trying to find places that we could go test. That's kind of difficult because of the weather. We went down to Homestead a couple of times. I stayed pretty busy. I want to verify that things that worked well for us down at Homestead also work well for us when we go to another racetrack. Definitely made some improvements with the bike and made a step with the electronics that made him feel a lot more comfortable. So I'm hoping that making him comfortable ends up being faster, more consistent, fast laps. Last year, lost an engine at Road America. That was a pretty big setback, losing all the points from one race. A couple small mistakes from him at the Ridge, crashed. That was just him. Then got bad luck taken out by Peterson at Laguna. So, it was a combination of bad luck happening and maybe trying a little too hard. It was disappointing too, because a lot of those times where he crashed where I thought he was trying too hard, if he would have just backed off a tenth, he still would have won. My hope is that we're always a second ahead. Whether that pans out or not, we'll see at Atlanta. I'm hoping that we've made a big enough improvement over the offseason. We can just be Cam and Jake show, and those other guys can battle for third. Last year, going into Atlanta, we were hoping to be on the box, if we were lucky. Then you win the first race, and now all of a sudden your expectation is always, well, we should win them all then. I expect we should win them all.
Before the Superbike season begins for Beaubier, Kayla joins her new team for the Daytona 200.
The Daytona 200 is one of the most prestigious races that you can win because it's such a lengthy and diverse race. It's a non-points paying race in comparison to the rest of the Supersport Championship. So it's a good opportunity for riders to shake down their bikes ahead of the season and just kind of shake the rust off.
Expectations for the weekend are tempered as the new team readies for the first competition of the year.
On top of being my first full season in Supersport, I'm still only 16, so I'm just getting into this category. It's a big step, but this is what we need to take in order for me to get to where I want to be.
Her dad asked me to be involved with what they're doing for this year. I've seen her around at club races and seen what she's been able to do for the last 4 or 5 years. I felt like this is somebody that I would really like to be able to do a little bit of what I know to help her get to the next step, because she's definitely going there. Before Kayla got here, she'd only done a couple amateur laps. We just needed to get laps in.
All right, let's go. Love you, have fun.
Kayla, she is so good on the brakes. A lot of times I forget how young she really is. You hear her teammates always talk about how hard she is on herself. Right now, she has a lot to prove, and she hears a lot of noise, and she doesn't want to hear the noise anymore.
Each time I'd come into the pits and have a problem, we'd make a step in the right direction.
I feel so slow.
We're gonna have to go backwards sometimes to go forwards.
We'll get there. Her race acumen, how she understands what she wants from the bike, is as high a level as anybody I've worked with.
It's way too stiff for this track. It doesn't finish the corners. The brake, I don't know if it's normal, but coming off of the banking, like I was scared because it was like barely there.
She's up there with the best of them.
Kayla Yakov now 14th, really only a second and a half off the leader now. That's a big jump from what they had yesterday.
That might be her fastest first sector split, period.
We weren't going to gain any more spots. We were comfortably in the positions that we were.
Initially, like, first lap was faster than yesterday, and you keep checking away at it.
The lap times were really good for the amount of time we have on the bikes, and didn't even get to do a track walk on the first day we were here because of a bunch of stuff going on.
I know you don't like it, but we'll work on it. Remember the first time we rode this thing at the track and it was way off and it took some time.
Kayla ends up qualifying P18 in a field of 62 riders.
We finally got to practice pit stops on pit road and like mark all our stuff off on Friday night, the night before the race. We had a 3-rider lineup, but only 2 crews for pit stops. So one crew had to do double stops, no matter what.
I mean, that was like 11.8.
We had to stagger the laps for the riders to come in. Because of that, we could not do a 2 pit stop strategy for one of the 2 riders. We had to pull her in kind of extra early, so we'd have a lap to do a changeover, move everything in and out to be able to do the second stop for Corey.
There's a lot of room for error, which is actually like super nerve-wracking.
With PJ's crash on Friday morning, his crew was still scrambling, working on their bikes and getting stuff ready. They didn't get to practice till Saturday morning. So we were able to do a full practice with our proper crew for Corey and Kayla.
Go! This bike. 12.7. Nice.
One more item on the agenda for Friday, a magazine cover photo shoot 5 minutes before pit lane closes.
Ready?
Just these 2 wheels? Been coming here for a while.
Thank you, Matilda.
I'll see you soon.
Let go.
Yes.
It was in 2017, 2018. I was on the AMA cover when I was really little. My dad told me it was like a news thing, and they took photos, and then I was surprised like a month or 2 later with, you know, my face on the cover of the magazine. Knowing that it would be on the cover this time changed my mindset a little bit about the photos. I was doing like heel clicks, trying to throw my helmet, like stuff like that. My face, it was so funny. So good. AMA has been something that's super special to me, and I'm proud to be a part of.
In the same year, Kayla races in her first Daytona 200. She gets her driver's license, eventually.
I wouldn't say I was super confident going into the driver's test because honestly I was more nervous about my driver's test than I ever have been for a race. I took my driver's test pulling out of the DMV. I rolled instead of coming to a complete stop. That was enough to fail me. That really sucked. So we took it the week after and did fine. Now I have my license and the roads have never been safer.
Living in Gettysburg, it's pretty much all battlefields up here. I'm pretty big on history. Not to say I'm big on the Civil War. History's always been something that's fascinated me, so living here in Gettysburg is really, really cool. For sure, see some reenactments come out here every once in a while and do their thing.
Hey, I said quiet.
This area is super chill. There's a lot of farmers and even Amish, so it's very laid back here. It's cold winters, that kind of sucks, but the summers are really nice, and it gives me a nice place to go out and cycle. I cycle on the battlefields all the time.
These monuments, they're put in here by the National Park Service, and every year we get new ones. I've made it my mission to memorize every one of them by the end of the year. This one's cool. I like this one a lot. Just imagine being a soldier in these woods and having to hide behind a rock, having to hide behind a tree to barricade yourself. Some of the trees, they'll point out there's still bullet holes from where the crossfire kind of goes into some of the trees. It's insane.
Gettysburg is one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War. Obviously, Gettysburg has significance otherwise with the Gettysburg Address and Lincoln, but there's huge significance in this town and what it means for America.
It is so exciting to have the field of motorcycles we have competing in the Daytona 200.
This is the most competitive field that we have seen in 20 years. It might be the most competitive field we've seen in even longer than that.
It's just like a club race. You're just avoiding all the slow people. Swear in your helmet a couple times to get it all out. Get a good song in your head. She's going to learn more in this one race than you can learn in a weekend or two at certain tracks, especially with how crazy stacked the field was this year. So this is my song. No, this is the drop. I love you. Had a lot of fun.
And it's a mad dash to turn number 1, and it looks like the number 70 of Ty Scott, your pole sitter on that Vision Wheel M4X Star Suzuki, will lead us through. But Josh Herron also got a good launch. Last year's winner, trying for a bid up the inside as they head towards the International Horseshoe, and it's going to be Herron who's going to lead the way.
Kayla's up 2 spots.
On lap 3, a bike loses an engine and causes a split in the field early.
Things got chaotic with Chavi blowing up right in front of us. I had fluid all over my visor, my bike. I actually couldn't see for probably 8 laps. I couldn't pull my tear off.
So Chavi 4 is out on that number 1 bike.
Just under 43 laps to go in the Daytona 200.
Hopefully she saw this.
I got the bike.
He said she gave a thumbs up.
Okay, she saw it.
We expect the pit stop window to open up here in the next couple of laps.
Where is she? Oh, she's in the 3rd split.
And it looks like we have Kayla Yakov, who went into the pits.
She's going to be the first one that we've seen in the pits on lap 14. Seems a little early. It looks like a normal pit stop for Kayla, her first Daytona 200. It's almost like a test for this team right now. They had a really tough Thursday, making some big changes, getting these bikes better. Looked like a good pit stop for Kayla.
I was telling Ben my max heart rate is probably going to be at my pit stop because that's like the most chaotic time. But honestly, today it went really well.
We basically did 2 true pit stops and then a really quick, we call it a splash and go, is we only dump 8 or 10 liters of fuel, make sure we get through the race. Finishing the race is more important than not finishing the race. I think in the end, where everything settled out, we only maybe lost 1 or 2 positions.
So Kayla is on pace right now. She's doing some fast laps. Her last lap through was a 51.7. She's going to go draft and past PJ Jacobson down that back straightaway.
It was really cool to see the 2 bikes together. It was really nice. They traded paint a little bit. PJ passed her a couple times. She's not going to just let somebody go by for no reason. She's a racer.
So that battle for 11th place continues. Once again, PJ, her teammate behind her, Jacobson. The flurry of the new team.
PJ has a lot more experience than me, and he also has raced the 200 before. It was really cool to be around him, kind of backing it in some places, because at the end of the race, when everything's pretty spread out, it's pretty chill, so just having some fun the last few laps.
And now for Josh Herron, the number 2. He wins again at at the Daytona 200 and takes the checkered flag.
Kayla finishes P11, ahead of both her teammates, PJ Jacobsen 13th and Corey Alexander 15th.
Really proud of you. Really proud of you. Let me get you a water. You okay?
That was so hard.
Okay. Are you okay?
Being our first outing, we were willing to sacrifice a little bit of time on the track to make sure all 3 riders could finish. Yeah, we want to be at the front. Nobody's going to do that their first year there.
You look at her lap times for the whole race, she didn't fade at all. And she was whooped, you know, by the end of it, but she stayed strong the whole race. I'm excited to see, you know, where the progression goes, and she's in a good place. She just needs to keep checking the boxes.
It was a lot of fun to just go out there and do 200 miles, which is something I've never done. I don't think I've gone longer than maybe 18 laps on a Supersport bike. It was wild, you know, 57 laps of just chaos and pretty fun race.
David Anthony, the wrench and ADR team principal, looks back at Bobby's disqualification from the 200 and where it went wrong.
People are calling us cheats, which isn't fair. I mean, I guess technically it's cheating because it was against the rules, but nothing was intentional, and that's on me. That's my fault. Daytona was tough. There I am, you know, in the hospital, disappointed in myself for my day, but then to hear that they got disqualified for something I did back at the shop months ago, that was it just made it all that more special trip to Daytona. It's a standard tank, unmodified standard tank, which is legal in every other championship in the world, legal for the rest of the year in MotoAmerica. And all I did was go to the Suzuki, you know, specifications, look up how much the Suzuki tank hold. I can't remember what it was, but it was definitely way less than a litre less than the actual 19 were allowed. So I never checked, never bothered to do it, thought I was going to be under the 19 litres, but apparently I wasn't.
Dave Anthony probably doesn't get the credit he deserves for how much effort he puts in.
I would have to rate Dave probably the busiest person in this paddock.
I've spent a week with him and he works 7 till 9 every night on this race program. And we feel that we're way better prepared than we were last year on Superbikes, and we need to be because everybody stepped it up.
The more I work with Robbie, Nick, and Dave, and all my chassis guys, like, you know, each weekend we're improving, and we could see it. It's like big jumps too, you know, and we're figuring it out.
We've definitely put a lot of effort into building new parts, new swing arms, new gas tanks, just different offset cups, pieces. And we know Bobby can win races, so we need to, you know, cross every T and dot every I that we can to make sure we're giving everything he needs. We know with the steps we've made behind the scenes that, yeah, I think he will legitimately line up to fight for the win every time he's on that bike.
After 200 miles of racing and little rest, Bobby gears up for race 2 of King of the Baggers to close out Daytona.
Guys, it is the second Mission King of the Baggers race of the weekend, but it's the second race of the day for 2 of our bagger racers, Bobby Fong and Hayden Gillum.
Where is he, dude? Where the hell is he? Oh, right there. No?
We see somebody down there on pit lane that might not get to start. We'll get an idea who that is in a minute.
Hold in. Hold in.
Bobby Fong is out, so such a bummer to see Bobby out. One of our early title contenders out of the race, Greg, before it even starts.
One of my first years in professional racing, I worked for the son of a former world champion.
We're obviously out.
One of the first things he told me is riders are allowed to make mistakes, mechanics aren't. And that's really stuck with me. So whenever things like this happen, I'm very disappointed in myself to let Bobby down like that. The bike dropped a cylinder on the banking coming around, and he just pulled in to not get in anybody's way.
I'm happy to be, you know, in one piece, leaving this place, and looking forward to get back on the Superbike and getting to a regular racetrack. My schedule here coming up is so gnarly. I have testing at Chuckwalla the 2nd, 3rd next week, and then from there I'm driving. This is the only race I'm driving to, the Dainese van. So I'm driving the van to Coda, parking it Then I fly back to California. Less than 24 hours, I fly straight to Arizona to test the Superbike the Tuesday, Wednesday before COTA. Then I'm flying that night after testing the Superbike back to COTA to race the bagger, and then straight to Atlanta from there. We have a Aprilia Day Monday after COTA for Dainese, and then fly to Atlanta, race Atlanta, Sunday night, have a red eye to France for my buddy's wedding. Dude, I'm tapped.
And I'll be here with Kitty.
Yeah, she'll be here with the cat.
Of my shrimp.
All right.
Oh, I need cheese. What do I do with it?
Not bad, but when you put in a lot of sauces and stuff, it just cools everything down.
Honestly, one thing you do know how to do is cook.
Well,
Cook and ride a bike.
yeah.
2 things. Good things.
Yeah.
Cameron Beaubier's Superbike season starts 5 weeks after the Daytona 200. He doesn't have a problem finding things to do.
This is what I've been messing with lately. Been piling some dirt up and shaping some berms and some jumps.
Yeah, we'll be spending a lot of summer nights out here, I have a feeling.
Get it, Will? Oh!
I gotta get the corners, the corner markers laid out so you can't cut the track or anything. I actually looked into like some live timing and scoring.
Painted a new body and it's already broken.
They're money pits, I'll tell you that. There's always something that's breaking, especially Ezra. He's broke his car like 3 times already. He's only had it for like a month and a half.
The thing can't hold up with the pace I'm running.
Ezra's like, oh my gosh, Cameron just has control even over his truck that like he does on his motorcycle.
They just come out here and they just tinker on things, and then I come out sometimes and like, I'm making this jump bigger. I'm like, okay, they're just nerds playing with their toys.
It's a nice, safe hobby, so yeah.
All right, we're gonna do a 3-lap moto. All right, ready, set, go.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Really? He's fine.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh my God.
Your spur gear broke, huh? That was pretty lame.
Dude.
The mud's eating them up.
Oh, she's toast. Chassis roached.
Oh gosh, that was a disaster.
Well, that lasted about 3 corners.
A little too muddy for the cars to handle. So maybe next time it'll be a little bit more of a professional setup.
On the next episode, Kayla goes to her first IndyCar race, and Beaubier's bad luck carries over into 2024.
You get used to winning championships and races. It hurts losing more than you enjoy winning.